Hey Hunter, Charles Oliveira vs Max Holloway, BMF. Vamos fazer acontecer essa?
Hey Hunter, Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway at BMF. Let's make that happen.
Charles Oliveira calls out Max Holloway, and the MMA world is on fire. After an absolutely dominant performance at UFC Rio, Bronx called out the BMF champion for a rematch nearly a decade in the making. And you won't believe what happened next. Max Holloway responded almost immediately with two words that have everyone losing their minds. I'm interested. That's right. Charles Oliveira is calling for a Max Holloway rematch for the BMF title after his incredible UFC Rio victory, and Blessed has officially responded. This is the blockbuster fight the UFC needs, and it looks like it's actually going to happen. Let's set the scene. October 11th, Farmácia Arena in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. The crowd is absolutely electric, and Charles Oliveira steps into the octagon with something to prove. After getting knocked out by Topuria in June, his first knockout loss ever, some people were questioning if Bronx still had it. Well, he answered those doubters in the most brutal way possible.
But there's a difference already. Well, he's already busted up.
Out. A man of his UFC lightweight champion, Ilia Topuria.
Mateusz Gamrot, one of the toughest lightweights on the planet, couldn't last 2 rounds. Oliveira came out like a man possessed. Relentless pressure, crisp striking, and when it hit the ground, game over. In the second round, Oliveira locked in a nasty rear naked choke that looked more like a face crank, and Gamrot had no choice but to tap at 248. The submission extended Oliveira's UFC record to 17 submissions and 20 finishes total. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has finished more fights in UFC history than Charles Oliveira. But here's where it gets interesting. With his family in the cage and tears in his eyes, Oliveira grabbed the mic and sent a crystal-clear warning to the BMF champion. Hey Hunter, Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway, BMF. Let's make that happen.
Hey Hunter, Charles Oliveira vs Max Holloway, BMF. Vamos fazer acontecer essa?
The crowd erupted, the message was sent, and Max Holloway, he was watching. Now Max Holloway is not the type of guy to back down from anybody. Minutes after Oliveira's call-out, Blessed went live on Kick and gave the MMA world exactly what they wanted to hear. I'm interested. Why wouldn't I be? We've been talking about this fight. Me and him have a history. He's blaming it on some type of injury. I guess we'll figure it out now.
And we've been talking about this fight. Me and him have a history. He's blaming it on some type of injury. I guess we get to figure it out now.
Let's talk about that history for a second because it's wild. These two actually fought back in August 2015, almost a decade ago, at UFC Fight Night 74 in Saskatoon, Canada. Holloway won in just 99 seconds after Oliveira suffered an esophageal injury. It was a bizarre ending to a fight that never really got started. Oliveira has always blamed that loss on the injury, and Holloway, he's ready to prove it wasn't a fluke.
Yeah, it is. I'm telling you, here we go. The Mac immediately takes the second stance. Usually took the strikes. We're starting to rip it to the body. It's this gorgeous combination of your head dragging in the net, setting up position to submissions, even from the standing.
But here's the thing. Both fighters are completely different now. Back then, they were hungry featherweights trying to climb the ranks. Today, Holloway is a former featherweight champion and the reigning BMF title holder. Oliveira, he's the former lightweight champion with the most finishes in UFC history. Alright, so Holloway wants the fight, but he's not going to Brazil. During his kick stream, he laid out exactly how this needs to go down. No, I'm not going to Rio. Fight in Las Vegas or something. We fight on my terms, brother. We went to Rio. We did that with the King of Rio. Now it's my turn to have a say.
I'm not fucking going to Rio. Fight in Las Vegas or something. We fight on my terms, brother. We went to Rio, we did that, bro, with the King of Rio. So now it's my turn to have a say.
He's talking about his legendary win over Jose Aldo in Rio back in 2017, one of the most iconic victories of his career. Holloway walked into enemy territory and dismantled the King of Rio in front of his home crowd. Now, he's saying it's Oliveira's turn to come to him. And honestly, that's fair. Holloway is the BMF champion. He won the belt at UFC 300 by knocking out Justin Gaethje in the final second of the 5th round, one of the most spectacular knockouts in UFC history. Then he defended it against Dustin Poirier at UFC 318 in July, becoming the first fighter to ever successfully defend the BMF title. So yeah, the man has earned the right to call the shots.
Title fight for the BMF.
Well, the knockdown for Holloway, trying to follow up with the right hand. Poirier covers up, gets back to his feet, and gets cracked with a left.
Yeah, gets straight to Max.
Oh, right hand.
This fight gets some confidence going after that first round. That's a good start to it.
Bravo, Poirier.
The combination was left.
Poirier changes up his level now.
Oh, snap.
Oh, knockdown for Poirier. He just and he's showing the gilly. Holloway remaining composed as he eats an elbow. Oh, big elbow from Poirier.
As for timing, Holloway is recovering from a hand injury, but says March 2026 is very possible. He's currently doing strength and conditioning and waiting for medical clearance. There's also talk about the UFC White House event in June 2026, but Holloway seems hesitant to wait that long. He wants to fight sooner rather than later. Now, Oliveira isn't backing down. At the post-fight press conference, he made it clear he's flexible about the location. His terms are the same as the UFC. It can be at his house. If it's not in Brazil, it can be anywhere in the world. March is perfect. It's a perfect fight. It would be awesome to see Hawaii.
Terms are the same as the UFC. It can be in his house. If it's not in Brazil, it can be anywhere in the world. He doesn't think that the UFC will do an event in Hawaii, and he doesn't want to wait for the White House. But he mentioned March, which would be a good date for him. It's perfect. It's a perfect fight. It would be awesome to see Hawaii.
And then came the Twitter message. Oliveira tweeted, "White House aloha," suggesting he's open to fighting at the White House event in June. But here's the problem. Holloway doesn't want to wait that long. He responded by saying, "I don't know if I want to wait that long, but we'll see what happens." Never say never. There's also the location issue. Holloway shot down the Hawaii idea, saying, "Hawaii ain't never going to have a fight. We don't have a stadium to hold it." So right now, Las Vegas in March seems like the most realistic option. Both fighters are willing, both fighters are ready, and the UFC brass, especially Hunter Campbell, is definitely paying attention.
Holloway will give you a lot of different looks. He's very proficient both in the orthodox right-handed stance and as a southpaw.
Is this fight against Dan personal for you? Because, you know, the tweets back and forth between you guys, do you feel like this is a personal fight?
I mean, no, it's not personal fight because it's just
You remember this one?
it's just a business, you know.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's a business. Yeah, of course. On the real life, I know he's gonna shut his mouth and like he couldn't say anything about me. But when it's gonna be media or a lot of people, of course, he can do something.
Dana, earlier this week, you scheduled Arman Tsarukyan to fight Dan Hooker in November.
Yeah.
And will the winner of that fight become the #1 contender in the lightweight division?
Will the number of that? Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Dana.
Arman Tsarukyan just sent a clear warning message to Ilia Topuria. Tsarukyan believes he's being deliberately kept away from Ilia Topuria, and he's not holding back anymore. Quote, "The UFC knows I'm the only one that can beat Ilia Topuria. Let's get straight into it. Arman Tsarukyan just went on the record with Ariel Helwani, and he did not hold back. When asked about Paddy Pimblett potentially fighting Ilia Topuria, Tsarukyan shut it down immediately. His exact words? No way. I'm the only one that can beat Ilia, for now, in our division. And everybody knows that. Even the UFC knows that."
Do you think Paddy can beat Ilia?
No, no way.
Do you think
Paddy? Yeah, no, Paddy. Ilia, just me can beat Ilia. That's all for now in our division.
you're the only one?
Right now, yes. And everybody knows that. Even UFC knows that.
But here's where it gets interesting. Tsarukyan believes the UFC is actively trying to avoid this matchup. He claims the promotion knows he's a nightmare matchup for their rising star Topuria, and they're protecting their golden boy. That's why they're trying to push him as much as possible, Tsarukyan said. If I go and perform very well and finish Hooker, they cannot avoid me anymore.
That's why they're trying to push him as much as possible.
You think they're trying to keep you apart, keep you away from him?
Yeah, yeah, but if I go and like perform very well and finish Hooker, they cannot avoid me anymore.
Do you think you have to do something spectacular against Hooker, like get a finish or something so that you're undeniable?
I have to, yeah, to show that I want to fight for the title and I deserve to be there.
And you go into this fight, Arman, with a chip on your shoulder because of everything that's happened this year and everything that happened at the beginning of the year. Do you feel like you have to remind people that you have to prove something to them, that you are who you say you are?
Yes, of course, you know. But I know right now. Yeah, I had a problem with my back, everything, a lot of rumors, this, that. Yeah, but if I go and like perform very well and finish Hooker, they cannot avoid me anymore.
This is a direct accusation that the UFC is playing favorites. Tsarukyan earned his #1 contender spot back in April 2024 after defeating Charles Oliveira by split decision. He's been waiting nearly 2 years for his shot, and his frustration is reaching a boiling point.
And let's fight Joe! Tsarukyan's in real trouble. He's in real trouble. He might go out. He might go out. I was trying to clear the legs of Oliveira. Tsarukyan's coming out. Wow!
UFC President Dana White just confirmed during the UFC 320 post-fight press conference that Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker is now a #1 contender fight.
Dana, earlier this week, you scheduled Arman Tsarukyan to fight Dan Hooker in November.
Yeah.
And will the winner of that fight become the #1 contender in the lightweight division?
Will the number of that? Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Dana.
This is massive news. The fight is scheduled for November 22nd, 2025, headlining UFC Qatar, and the winner gets the next shot at Ilia Topuria in early 2026. For Tsarukyan, this is his redemption story. Remember, he was supposed to fight Islam Makhachev for the lightweight title at UFC 311 back in January, but a back injury forced him to pull out just 1 day before the fight. He's been in UFC purgatory ever since.
Makhachev said that although his 4-fight winning streak is impressive, 5 is definitely more impressive, and he'll start making some ambitious call-outs.
Oh, wow.
Please. That's straight into mouth.
The trash talk between Tsarukyan and Hooker has been off the charts. Dan Hooker went on Submission Radio and said, and I quote, "If you put me near the guy, the fight's off. I'm going to hit him on sight."
If you put me near the guy, the fight's and I feel like he feels the exact same way.
He even said the UFC needs to keep them separated during fight week because he doesn't care about consequences. Hooker claims it's on sight, meaning if they cross paths, it's going down. But Tsarukyan, he's not impressed. In his interview with Ariel Helwani, Tsarukyan completely dismissed Hooker's tough talk. He said, "It's not personal, it's business. In real life, he's gonna shut his mouth and won't say anything about me."
I mean, no, it's not personal fight because it's just
You remember this one?
it's just a business, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a business. Yeah, of course. Uh, on the real life, I know he's gonna shut his mouth and like he couldn't say anything about me. But when it's gonna be media or
Tsarukyan added, he knows the media and security are going to be there. He's going to behave like a hooker. He's like that with cameras because he knows nobody's going to touch him.
he knows media and security and everybody is gonna be there, and he's gonna behave like a hooker.
What does that mean?
Like he's gonna behave like he behaved with cameras, you know, because he knows nobody gonna touch him.
When asked if he's worried about confrontations during fight week, Tsarukyan said a lot of his brothers are coming to Qatar since they don't need visas, and he hopes they'll stop him from doing something crazy because, as he put it, I'm going to have 25 minutes to beat his ass.
Because I'm gonna have 25 minutes to beat his ass.
Dana White was asked about the threats and basically said it's all part of the business. Crazy encounters happen at the UFC Performance Institute all the time, and they're not beefing up security just because fighters are talking trash.
It's part of the business, and, you know, we don't beef up any extra security because we think guys are talking shit. It's part of the business.
Tsarukyan isn't just talking trash. He has a detailed game plan for how he'd beat Ilia Topuria, and it's actually brilliant. Tsarukyan believes Topuria has a critical weakness. He's never been truly tested by elite wrestling. According to the Armenian, Topuria spends all his time hitting pads and boxing, bringing in sparring partners who can't take him down. Topuria is primarily a striker with devastating knockout power. We've seen him finish Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski, but we haven't seen him face relentless wrestling pressure for 5 rounds. That's the key question. Tsarukyan wants to exploit that gap. He plans to tire Topuria out, take him into deep waters, and force him to fight in positions he's not comfortable in. For Arman Tsarukyan, this is about more than just winning. He needs to dominate. He told Helwani directly, I have to show that I will fight for the title and I deserve to be there.
I have to, yeah, to show that I want to fight for the title and I deserve to be there.
He's even predicting a knockout finish over Hooker, saying he'll either knock him out or wrestle him for 25 minutes straight. He wants to leave no doubt. The injury cloud still hangs over him from the UFC 311 withdrawal. There were rumors, speculation, and questions about whether his back is really healed. Tsarukyan addressed this head-on, saying he feels great and his back doesn't bother him anymore. He served as a backup fighter at UFC 317 and cut weight successfully, proving he's ready to go. Now it's time to silence the doubters. Meanwhile, Ilia Topuria doesn't have his next fight booked yet, but names like Paddy Pimblett, Justin Gaethje, and Max Holloway have been floated around. Tsarukyan believes the UFC is deliberately giving Topuria favorable matchups while avoiding the wrestling specialists like himself. Who do you think wins this fight? Can Tsarukyan back up his bold claims? Is he really the one fighter who can dethrone Topuria? Let us know in the comments below. That's all we have for you today. Fight fans, make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you never miss our UFC coverage, and drop a like if you enjoyed this breakdown. Comment below with your predictions, Tsarukyan or Hooker. And do you think Arman can actually beat Ilia Topuria if he gets that title shot?
I kind of seen a picture of Bud dapping him up before Bud was going to his workout or leaving his workout. I think them guys got to leave Bud alone. I think Bud Crawford is just different. In a boxing ring with him, bro, you're not going to last more than one round, I don't think. You better off saying UFC. Like, Bud is a guy that I wouldn't be surprised if he gets in the UFC and beat the shit out of some guys, too, because he got a great wrestling background. I done seen him wrestle real wrestlers on some everyday shit. Because Bud looked bigger than that guy. He got longer arms. I wouldn't be surprised come fight night if they do an MMA fight. If Bud done knocked him out sleep or choked him to death, I just wouldn't be surprised.
Wow.
Absolutely not. We lost Conor McGregor after the Floyd Mayweather fight. And I think that
that's not the goal with Zuffa boxing. That's essentially that would be if we pull Topuria up into that space, that would mean that that's